Okay, if everything has gone according to plan, we should be live on YouTube. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Weekends with Avrona. It's been a very long time, I know, but the problem with this general period between, November, December, I guess going into October as well, is that it gets so boring in tech because all the big guys, of course, save all of the announcements for CES. Now, I'll be keeping the overall conversations around CES pretty minimal in this stream because hopefully next week's Weekends with Runner is all gonna be just CES hype. Just talking about what we can expect, giving you some kind of behind the scenes looks about what it is like to actually organize a trip to CES, what it's like to organize all these meetings with the companies, and what I can confirm so far that will be coming there. There's plenty I've had a look at so far that I am still, just completely not allowed to talk about, but there are a couple of things that I can already discuss that will be at CES that are cool and aren't just AI this or AI that. Speaking of, I was gone for a couple of days, or a week specifically. I was back in Poland just relaxing, and then I wanted to come back and see exactly how much further the RAM apocalypse has just completely annihilated any chance of a lot of us buying memory right about now. And these are the prices we are dealing with right now. These are the prices. Why is my forehead cut off? If you could not do that, OBS, that would be fantastic. There we go, thank you. So this is what the situation currently looks like. It is still awful. It is still horrendous. I'm in a very fortunate position where I had G-Skill and Bywin and a couple of kits over before this all happened. So I still have some strategic reserves locked behind like 5-volt doors because they'll be worth a fortune soon. They're a better investment than anything else right about now. So yeah, it is absolutely crazy, and obviously I feel very bad for anyone who wanted to upgrade a PC right about now. A lot of people then decided to go and jump on the DDR4 bandwagon because DDR4 prices were still fairly low. It looked like, it's going to be fine. However, DDR4 prices are also... Okay, well, turns out that on Newegg, they don't even sell DDR4 anymore. There's a bunch of these kits right here from just some absolutely no-name company that does replacements for like QNAPs and HPs, basically OEM PCs. This appears to be what these guys do. But yeah, so apparently they don't even do DDR4 anymore, and even then the prices are, again, this is a 16 gig kit, 2666, $85.99. This is what I'll be paying for like DDR5 a couple of weeks ago even. And now this completely generic RAM from a company I guarantee no one watching has even heard of costs as much as pretty decent DDR5 would even a couple of weeks ago. That is where we are at right now, and it's only getting worse, as you probably know. We've been threatened with 4GB phones making a return because there's just shortages of memory that can be spared for phones. Micron has been saying that this suffering is the ends just justify the means, basically, that this suffering and these shortages are worth it for the AI experience it's going to generate, even while we're already starting to see the market slip. And Microsoft recently readjusted the AI goals because no one has been using Copilot. It's slowly slipping, but not fast enough, and now it's gonna be a while before things go back to normal. So that is why it's gonna be a very interesting CES as well. I know I wasn't going to talk a lot about CES, but again, in terms of how much AI is going to be pushed and how much other people are just going to move away from that, because again, it's starting to feel very slowly like the momentum is shifting. And if you're wondering, if anyone new here, why I'm constantly kind of looking up in the sky, up over there somewhere, that's because we have like a entire YouTube studio screen, so you can monitor the live stream, see if it's actually alive and running and stuff, and you can actually hear me. And I actually like I said, I was gone for 9 days, not 9 days, like 7 days, and when I came back, they completely redid the whole interface for live streaming on YouTube. So I just had to quickly quickly learn how this new one actually works. So yeah, like I said, unfortunately, it is looking pretty bad right about now. So I want to know from you guys, if you're in the middle of getting the parts for your PC, or if you're just like planning on upgrading, what do you do now? Because obviously, I don't imagine anyone's going to be paying these prices right now. So are you just going to wait? Are you just going to try and find some, cheap kits on eBay, or are eBay people like already taking advantage of it and raising the prices? Like, I want to know what your plan is. Or were you one of the few lucky ones to buy memory before it went just completely insane? The people who got in just before it all happened, because again, it felt like it was just a matter of a couple of weeks and everything just broke in the RAM market. The people that managed to get it just in time are the same people who like went on vacation literally days or like weeks before lockdowns began in COVID, imagine doing something, imagine going on a nice vacation in February or March of 2020. You made it just in time before everything just went south. And those people that managed to get all the parts of the PC before all of this started happening are also the lucky ones. Because again, it's not just memory. We're starting to see that CPU prices, like we've been threatened with CPU prices rising even for like older SKUs, like Ryzen 7000 SKUs and even older Intel SKUs. Okay, Intel is a funny one because no one's buying the current gen stuff. Even in the live streams we did recently for like Black Friday or Cyber Monday, we discussed how it could still be a good deal to get yourself like a 12th, 13th, 14th gen. So it makes slightly, even if it's not a good pro-consumer move, it makes slightly more financial sense for Intel to raise those prices other than just AI boom. And of course, GPU prices are also being threatened with rising. And by the way, we're now also seeing rumors that 5060 Ti production, let me just quickly pull this up, 5060 Ti production is supposedly coming to an end because there is just no VRAM to put in them. So literally everything is being affected right about now. And of course, in a second, we'll probably get to the big topic, the topic that's actually in the title of this video, because it's probably one of the dumbest ones. But the 5060 Ti 16 gig, which is a pretty decent value card from Nvidia this generation. I know we like to meme about Nvidia, but the 5060 Ti is in that kind of perfect price sweet spot. Plus you get 16 gigabytes of memory with it. So that is why it is this model, because of course there's 8 gigabyte ones. No one buys them. And also because they use less memory, they don't appear to be as affected. But with a 5060 Ti 16 gig and probably also other lower end 16 gig cards, we could be seeing it. I think for the higher end ones, your 5080s, your 5090s, Nvidia are going to ensure that there are enough memory chips to go around, just because obviously they cost more, the margins are nicer, and with these more budget ones, lower margins, it just doesn't make as much financial sense for them to again keep it up when they have much bigger priorities when it comes to where those memory chips will be going. Again, mostly towards AI, because the year is 2025 indeed. But again, it feels like stuff could be changing, maybe. Again, I'll kind of talk a bit more about that during the CES show, which will be the last Weekends with Avrona of the year. That's going to be next week. Yeah, Justin says that SSDs are going up there as well. Yeah, it's everything. And I already spoke with Bywin. So one of the kind of manufacturers, they've been making OEM stuff for ages, but they've been recently getting more into the consumer market, making and marketing their own kits of memory as well as SSDs. And I was talking to them a couple of weeks ago, and the guy who's my main media contact there has been fighting to really get proper marketing budgets in to properly promote the consumer side of things. And when things, it looked like they're finally progressing to a point where the higher ups were taking the consumer side a lot more seriously, all of a sudden this happens. So it's like, what's the point of promoting something that the consumers can't buy anyway, or that is just so expensive now that like no one in the right mind would promote that kind of stuff. It's sad. It really is sad. So again, it's gonna be a very, very interesting show altogether, because with all of these things combined. And one thing I'm really curious about is Micron, because I don't know if you saw, there was at some convention, I think in India or something, there was some tech convention, and a Crucial, Micron set up a Crucial booth there, literally days after they got axed, because apparently there was like some really last minute thing, or I don't know, it kind of reminds me of when Google Stadia got axed, and developers working on the project found out like on the day it was happening, no pre-consultations or anything. There's like, oh, guess you're done for now. And I don't know, I have a feeling that the whole Crucial thing was the same, because why are you investing in these booths? Oh, okay, the thing is with Crucial is that it's not going away instantly. They still have until I think the end of like March or April of 2026. So there's still a couple of months when they could be promoting and selling off the last Crucial products. They probably already have these Crucial booths and all of the booth amenities set up and printed and prepared, whatever, that they can deploy at these trade shows and conventions that they could just use at these kind of shows. So I'm also wondering, is there going to be a Crucial presence at CS specifically? Or because Micron are going to be there, I'm pretty sure, but is Crucial specifically going to be there? That's going to be more interesting. I'm still sad they're going away, but unfortunately that's just the case. Merry Christmas to people in chat. Hello, welcome. Nice to see some more people joining in. Again, if anyone's joining in and wondering why I'm constantly kind of like breaking my neck looking over there, it's because that's just where I have the live chat, so you can see what all of you are saying, and if you're depressed as much as I am about the current state of the PC pricing market. So yeah, anyway, we should really move on to the thing that broke. I've been so I was so annoyed that this whole story basically developed when I was away, because I couldn't make a video about it. So a video is coming tomorrow. Well, I'll cover many of the same points, but basically on the subject of AI ruining everything, the Steam machine is something I can't really make myself too enthusiastic about. It's something I talked about before on both live streams and also in videos, because it's literally just a mini PC. It's a mini PC that doesn't even have really amazing specs or anything, and right now there is a lot of concern about the pricing of it, especially even before memory prices really got bad. There was I believe that Valve had an interview with the LTT team, and they told Linus that, Linus told them that the community basically hopes that it's going to be console priced, and then their reaction to that statement was not great. I think that's basically how Linus phrased it. Like, the energy in the room wasn't great. They didn't state the price. Back then, I wonder how much they knew about the problems they're going to have with it. But here's the issue, and I do feel bad for Valve. Even if I don't really care about the Steam machine and I have no interest in it as a product, I still feel bad for them. Because it looks like there were already quite a few concerns about the pricing of it before pricing for memory went berserk. So if they're already struggling to bring it down to a console-like price, or a price that would actually be acceptable to a lot of consumers, and then they also have to deal with this, then I do really feel bad for them. It's like the worst time to be launching any hardware, unless they just eat the cost themselves, which, I mean, that's Valve. They make a lot of money, and it'll probably just be worth it for the sales of Half-Life 3, because yeah, Half-Life 3 is real. Okay, it was always going to be real, but it was just more vaporware for a long time. And what appears to be the case is that it's going to be essentially a launch title, or a pack-in title, or something like that, for the Steam machine. It's hard to call it like a launch exclusive kind of thing, which we see in traditional consoles, because again, it's not a console, it's a PC. So it's not really a PC. It's gonna be a PC exclusive, most likely. It's not probably not coming to consoles, but it's not gonna be a Steam machine exclusive. But it's gonna be basically treated as a launch title. But even then, it's gonna be kind of weird because with something like, and again, I gotta go more into depth into that in the video that's coming tomorrow. With something like Half-Life Alyx, right? It was there to really demonstrate the Valve Index as a next gen. At the time, it was pretty much the best VR headset you could get, and it was in a launch title. The Half-Life Alyx came out about a year after Half-Life, after the Valve Index. So, like, what, apart from just using the insane hype that Half-Life 3 has behind it, is there any reason to tie it so closely to the Steam machine? To the point where you could be potentially delaying Half-Life 3 until you can release this thing? So I wonder if the overall strategy is that they are fully aware that with both the RAM pricing situation and the fact that it's not going to be too competitive price and spec wise to consoles, if the plan is to basically have this thing be entirely run off of the hype for Half-Life 3, by bringing them so much closer, they are able to hype up the Steam machine just through association with Half-Life 3 and basically holding Half-Life 3 hostage with the Steam machine. Again, it's not going to be an exclusive. It's probably going to be a pack-in. Like, I assume the way you're going to get a copy of Half-Life 3 with the Steam machine. But you could just play it on your PC, and it's probably going to be a better experience on your PC, which you already have, because your specs will be better. Yeah, someone in chat just says, have you already spoken about Half-Life? You made it to the show just in time. In terms of, will we be able to play it during our lifetime? I hope so. If you asked me a couple of years ago, I would have probably said that this game is probably never coming out in a lifetime. Or maybe, I don't know, it's going to be part of Gaben's will, right? Like, my final act on Earth, release Half-Life, I don't know. But it actually appears real. All of the leaks and all of the information we seem to have gotten over the past few weeks show that it is real, but again, it's so hard to be excited about it because of well, the fact that, again, its release is being held hostage by the release of the Steam machine, which is being held hostage by the memory shortage, which is being held hostage by the AI bubble. So once the AI bubble bursts, and it will burst, mark my words, when that's going to be, who knows? And again, that is why I'm really, really looking forward to CES, apart from just, you know, being able to, like, go to Vegas, see cool brands and all of that kind of stuff. I'm really, really curious to gauge where we are at in the AI bubble stage. How companies are treating it, how companies are reacting to what's going on, and if companies are now treading more carefully around AI. I am very, very curious to see what CES is going to be like at that angle. And again, let me know your predictions. Like, do you think we're going to be seeing less of it? Because even just a couple of months ago, when I went to IFA in Berlin, it was still pretty crazy. I remember just going through the LG booth, which is like an entire hall, and I counted the word AI appearing there something like 50 times in all of the kind of blurbs and marketing plastered all over it. And even Samsung made a joke about it at a press conference. Samsung said that at the end of the whole presentation, an actual Samsung executive said, "We've said the word AI in this presentation 130 something times," right? So they were kind of self-aware about it in a way. But again, I'm kind of curious if at all that attitude has changed since September when IFA was, because Samsung will be there. So that's going to be a very good comparison between the show at IFA and the show at CES. how much more or less they'll be talking about AI. And again, with Samsung specifically, with the upcoming launches of the Trifold and of the S26 series in January, like, are they gonna be more expensive because of the RAM shortage? Like, what is that gonna look like? It's gonna be pretty interesting. I think it's a very, very weird time. But here's hoping that CES will give us some answers as to where the industry is heading with this situation. Because again, it does not look good. It does not look good. And again, I do feel bad for Valve. It does make a lot more sense why they didn't announce anything for any of the hardware that they announced recently. Even for stuff I'm more interested in, more excited about, like the brand new VR headset, they announced nothing, no pricing, no release date. Steam Machine, same thing. Steam Controller, again, nothing, nada. And now we know why. Now we know why. It's because they're just killing time until they get some proper answers as to what exactly could be going on. It's rough. It's rough, and they've just chosen the worst possible time to release this thing. So again, here's hoping that something will actually happen to make the whole situation a bit better in 2026. But we have seen industry analysts saying that the shortages are only just getting started, and even if there is going to be some kind of huge violent burst in the bubble, then it's going to take a while for pricing to return back to normal. Most kind of leaks and most kind of suggest that we could still see the Steam Machine launching in early 2026, like kind of as it says right here. I am becoming more and more skeptical if that is ever going to happen. It's also going to be a kind of a general good time, I feel, if they can, but they probably won't. Obviously, going towards the end of the year, that's going to be a bloodbath for any game launches, because everyone's just trying to stay as far away as possible from GTA 6. That is, unless they delay it again, which probably could happen. So at least Valve are being smart here. At least they aren't stating the release date of Half-Life 3, and then basically making the entire industry readjust its plans based on just when it is launching. So it is such a weird situation. It is such a weird time. And I don't know, like I said, I'm very curious to hear what is going to change. It's really hard to say anything about the future of AI, companies and so on. The one thing I can guarantee that the big players will gain and consumers will lose. Yep, that is pretty much the case. I mean, they always try to make it out like it's for our own good. Like I was talking about earlier, Micron have been said that are suffering in increased memory prices and increased SSD prices are worth it for the greater good, for the AI experience to be worth it. And then at the same time, Microsoft are readjusting the AI goals because no one's using Copilot. At the same time, we are seeing like companies realizing that less and less people actually care, and I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's a very, very weird time. But like I said, I wanted to be talking more about CES next week, because that's going to be the last show before CES. I'll be actually leaving on the 1st of January. So like right after New Year's, right on a plane and to Vegas. That's one, because that just was the best price-wise in terms of plane tickets, because, you know, surprise, surprise, plane tickets to Vegas aren't cheap, so I had to kind of look at what's the best option there. But also because even though the show itself operates from the 6th to the 9th of January, it is actually, there's a lot more happening before that. So the 2 days before that are called media days, which are just media kind of conferences, press conferences. That's when we're going to have like a Samsungs and Nvidias and AMDs and Intel. Well, Intel, I think, is literally just a live stream. I don't think they're going to have an audience at all, because I haven't seen anything about that. So I think Intel are just going to have a live stream. And then, but even before that, like the earliest appointment I have so far is on the 4th. And that's with Acer and Razer, if I believe, if I remember correctly. My calendar is actually insane right now, but it's gonna be fun. at the same time, I'm really dreading it. Just looking at my calendar, I get tired just by looking at my calendar and realizing how much work there's going to be to do in the span of like 6 days. It's going to be crazy, but again, I'm going to talk about it more in next week's episode. I kind of want to end by showcasing a couple of things that will hopefully still get videos before the end of December. It's obviously a crazy time, a lot of prep for CS, a lot of other projects, but here's at least a couple of things I want to finish off before I leave for Vegas. So Razer sent over a huge package recently. That's like where we had the GPU enclosure, we had a bunch of keyboards, they had a translucent sets, we had the Gengar collab, and one of the other things that they sent over that I really want to cover soon is this right here, which is the brand new Razer Wolverine V3 Tournament Edition for PC. And one thing that they really wanted me to highlight is the fact that it's for PC only. It actually lacks the hardware to connect to anything else. And they already had people that they sent these review samples to that were asking, hey, why can't I connect this to my Xbox? Or why isn't this working on my PlayStation? Because it's only for PC and it literally says so on the box. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Even though I don't usually care about controllers, I'm not a PC controller gamer, if that makes sense. Like the only game I could ever consider using a controller for on PCs, like racing games, but even then I'd much rather just like whip out my racing wheel and play that. But there are definitely cool uses for it. It's a pretty interesting little thing. Haven have sent over the Universal Vertical GPU Kit, which is basically just a system which you can use to put, well, as it says, a vertical GPU into pretty much any case. Again, pretty cool. I have that in black and white. And also, if I can actually, okay, this thing is like way too big to show, but I have, if you remember from Computex, the like retro-inspired Silverstone case, wow, they've sent it over. This is just the FOP01, but so that's like the last gen one. That's kind of more of like a lie down aesthetic rather than like a proper tower. But they're also sending the other one. The other one is on its way. Hopefully it's going to arrive before the carnage of Christmas week. But that is also going to be a really fun one. I fell in love with the FOP02 when I saw it at Computex, and I'm really looking forward to unboxing and showcasing both of them side by side and comparing what has changed between the first model and the second model. It's going to be pretty interesting. So if you really like that, then again, stay tuned. And there's going to be a couple of other pretty cool projects. Again, hopefully that we all finished off before we set off for Las Vegas on the 1st. So in the meantime, this is going to be our last show before Christmas, so Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a great time. Oh, one more thing. The end of your Q&A is happening, so if you have any kind of questions that you want to ask, and if you want your questions to appear in the Q&A, it can be literally about anything. As usual, it's going to be a pretty fun video if you just want to know more about like literally anything. So leave your Q&As in either the live chat, or in the, if you're watching the VOD, in the actual comment section, or in the Discord server, there's a Q&A channel there, or in the post that's going to be on the community tab about it. Wherever you go, you can just post any of your Q&As then. And the final video of the year on the 31st, unless the 31st, yeah, no, on the 30th, because the 31st, yeah, there's no like uploads on Wednesdays, then yeah, the final full long-form video of the year is going to be the Q&A yet again, as a nice little tradition we have every single year. Christmas cards as well have been sent out. It's another really awesome tradition. If you don't know, like $10 tier patrons always kind of get our special kind of Christmas cards, and you can just kind of grow it out of your collection every single year. But you know, it's kind of it's probably a bit too late now. If even if you did want to become a $10 tier patron, I would obviously very much appreciate it, especially with Vegas right around the corner, because it's not a cheap trip, as you can imagine, from the UK. But you know, even if you did, I could very much send one, but I highly doubt it's going to arrive before Christmas, especially if you live somewhere really far away. But anyway, I think that's going to be about it for the show. Again, if you want to learn more about what's coming in CES, what kind of insider info I'm able to spill about what's coming, then tune into the live stream next week at the very same time. So 6 p.m. here UTC, or whatever time it is in whatever exotic place you guys live in. But anyway, that's going to be about it. So I hope you enjoyed this live stream. If you did, then remember to subscribe, like, whatever, and I'll see you all in whatever I make next. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.